What a great and unique treat do we have for you today here on Gas Under Pressure. You know, I like to bring stuff that is unique, it's different, that people don't always get a chance to see, that maybe some other channels they may put some stuff up, and yeah, you might see a few minutes of it, but nothing really in depth. And we're definitely in the long format videos here. If you haven't already caught on, I think the Ida video was probably a total of an hour and a half of footage. If you made it through all that, then I don't know whether to be happy or sad for you. But we do specialize in bringing the unique and unusual, and then going into them in depth in a way that I don't think any other channel really covers. And if they do, then my apologies. But I like to think that we play around with some of this stuff a little bit more in depth than most. So what you have in front of you here today is a Coleman PQ. This is the Coleman chandelier lamp, and this one I picked up at the International Coleman Collectors Convention in Austin, Texas. That was held just a few months ago. So this was a bargain basement one. It has had a life. I mean, if you line this up with this, and we're going to turn it this way, and we're going to see that there's not too many things on here that are straight anymore. So obviously the swan arms or swan necks here are bent. The burners themselves are bent. This fiber knob here is cracked and falling apart, which it's almost ready to come right off of the valve stem itself. This is well, of course it's plugged with mud daubers, because why wouldn't it be? They both are. I think half of it, I think that is actually looking like it's supposed to. Where the swan necks connect, I'll show you here that they've been all soldered or welded or both. The previous guy said that he tried to heat it up with a torch to see if he could get them apart, and he did not have any luck melting it. He says it's something other than solder. We're gonna see how I don't know. It's pretty soft. Yeah, I can cut it with a knife, so it must be solder. Maybe he needed a little bit more heat in there than he thought. But you know what? Hey, if this is sealing, I ain't gonna mess with it. I'm not too worried about it. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this thing back to life. And right now, there's a lot of good parts on here. There's a lot of parts on here that need a little bit of TLC. You might notice that how this screws directly on the swan neck here, and this has got a couple of reducers, whatever, to make it work. And there's a lot of interesting things going on here, but that's all right. When we're done, it's going to look pretty great hanging from the ceiling of the porch in the back porch. I think even these are all bent in. They're not supposed to be. There probably needs to be a little bit of TLC with them, because they shouldn't all be flush in like that. And of course, they shouldn't also be oblong like this. So there is almost a unlimited amount of things I can do to this. So I got it for a really, really good price. But basically because it looks like it should be sent to the dump, and even the bottom of this is bowed out. That's supposed to be going in, but it is solid, and there's very little rattly rust inside of it, so that's good. You can see it's been this was an Amish one, I believe, because they've replaced the filler with a Schrader valve type, which of course can lead to these bulge bottoms, because you have unlimited potential to pump these up. Whereas if you're using something even as big as this with the metal on metal fitting, it's going to limit how much air pressure you can put into it. So what are we going to do? Well, at the Coleman convention, Cigar Mike was there. So Cigar Mike, for those of you who don't know, was the previous owner of Old Coleman Parts before he sold it off to Rob, and he had a bunch of stuff and things that he was selling there for $1 a pound. Yeah, $1 a pound. So I was like, well, I need new burners. So I'm like, well, let me see if there's any new burners there. Oh yeah, well, okay, there's a burner, right? Is there two? Oh yeah, two quick light burners. Yeah. What about valves? You got any valves? Oh yeah, well, there's valve there, and well, here's another one. This is a Canadian one, so it may not exactly work, but nonetheless, so got all that for, and actually there's another part too, but I picked all that up for $1, which is crazy. So thank you, Cigar Mike. You are awesome. You're a great guy, and absolutely a treasure to the Coleman Collectors Group, and it's really good to have someone around you like that to keep old Coleman parts going. And the new guy, Rob, is also doing a really good job. It was great to meet him there. So at any rate, these aren't necessarily from lamps. You can see they're from lanterns, from quick light lanterns, but that's not going to stop us. We're going to go ahead and get these in here and make them work. And they're a little, some of these are a little bent too, but they're probably straighter than what we got. So what are we going to do first? Well, I'm not going to worry about that right now. I was kind of looking at this. Oh, yeah, that's right. And I did actually talk to Old Coleman Parts, and I found out that they had the filler caps complete for 327 427s. So I ordered a couple of those. They were a really good deal at $8 a piece. So I got a couple of those. And hey, you know what? They're a little bit worn, but so is the rest of this lamp. So it's going to match perfect. So I'm not too worried about that. But the cool thing about these is that I also bought some gaskets. So if you've ever messed around with any of these Coleman quick lights, you'll know that these have a lead gasket on the bottom, and the lead gasket doesn't always work right, and you're like, do I replace the lead gasket, or what do I do? Well, it so turns out that the 427 gasket that they sell in Old Coleman Parts fits on here perfectly. So that's what I've done. Rather than trying to get the lead out and replace the lead and go back with something that I have to use a wrench on, I've used these 427 gaskets and just put them right over the top of the old lead gasket, which provides a great sealing surface. So that's all you have to do. Get these, stick them on there, and then screw them down, and then your previously wrench tight type of closure is now a finger tight, and they actually drop right down there in the bottom if I can convince it to go down there, and they sit right in and they won't fall off, and they look like they've been there their entire life. So at any rate, that's what to do with the lead gasket. So really what I want to do today is really get the swan neck off, and I want to give this the oven cleaner treatment and see what this looks like. Now you can see there's been some mechanical polishing done over here, and it doesn't look too bad. I mean the nickel on here doesn't look too bad. So maybe some parts a little bit, but we'll see how that ends up looking. So really the first order of business here is to apply this wrench and get this off. So this one, yeah, I have another one where they brazed it on there, and I think they did a little better job on that one. This one is a little bit rougher. This may actually be soldered. Maybe that's why. The other one was definitely brazed, but yeah, it doesn't want to come out real well, but it's a coming. Right. Just about out, and that's it. And yeah, they've completely removed the whole check valve assembly from inside here, so this will not function at all unless it has the Schrader valve. The Schrader valve doesn't, oh yeah, I guess it does push down. Okay, so it is moving, so it can probably still be used. Smells like old fuel. And just for grins, we'll go ahead and screw this one in just to kind of show you that whole gasket will screw right down on there, and that's it. So this is looking right back to stock like it was, and you take your pump like this, and you just would pump this in, and off you'd go. So see if we get any of these valves want to turn. Not really well, so we're not going to force it just yet. We will it is holding pressure, so that's a good sign. So really what's going to happen here is that I'm going to chuck this up in the vise and give it a spin. I think, yeah, one of these, yeah, this one's loose here, so wherever I can kind of remove some stuff, I think I'm going to do that first, just to make it a little bit easier on me, so I don't have as much stuff to chase around or get in the way. So we'll just start kind of pulling some of these old pieces off of here, if they want to come. Actually, see if we've got a better fitting wrench here rather than the crescents, which tend to damage things. But yeah, these are not a size that I've got in the wrench set. So we will just go ahead and proceed with this. And if this doesn't come off, we may not. Oh, there it comes. It's loose. I was thinking I didn't want to fight it too much, but if we can just get some of this stuff out of the way, it'll make this next step in the process a little easier. But well, you can really see how much of a lope this has to it. Yeah, it must have gotten thrown off of something somewhere. So anyway, but that's all right, because with any luck, all this stuff should just fit right on here. And this had some a little bit of a neck dent on that. I wonder how my valves I've got thread on here, if they do. Which, yep, that does thread right on there, so that's excellent. So that means that actually, let's take a look to see what's hiding under door number 2 here, and why this was put on here, because it's interesting in that there were multiples of it put on here, so I don't quite understand why that was done. Looks like it didn't go down all the way, so they just kind of smashed it down, or it was I think it was soldered. Oh yeah, so it might have been leaking underneath there. But with this new valve on here, that will tighten right up. This other one will tighten right up, and we'll get back to a more normal configuration instead of having these stacked whatever we're doing here. I'm not sure, but yeah, you can see why I got the new valve is because this old valve was cracked and falling apart. So it's just ready to come right off. This one is also cracked. I don't know if there's much that can be done for it other than just to try to take some care with it and see what we can do. So we're going to get this off of here, Maybe in just academic interest, we're going to blow some air in here and just see if the whole fuel pickup works, which I'm pretty sure it will. Should be almost zero resistance to do this. I don't have a way to feel it, but yep, can hear it there, and yeah, can feel it there. So it's definitely coming out, and it stinks terrible. Ugh. Don't want to do that too much. So that part's good. So when we pull this out, we'll see what kind of shape our fuel pickup's in, which I'm assuming by the smell, maybe not so great, but it's all right. We will persevere. I don't know how well this is going to work with my mobile vise situation here. We will try to give this a shot and see what happens. Okay. Yeah, the reason I'm doing it this way is because I don't have a vise for the fount, so I'm just going to put this in here, and it's not like I'm going to really make this soldered and welded thing any worse than it already is. So those of you who are cringing, uncringe, and we'll see what we can get going here. It's big and it's hard to get hold of. Let's see. I don't have a great way to grip it, and of course, I'm going blind. It's like 105 here in Texas today, and I'm out in the shed working on this. So, our friend heat. I guess we'll see if that solder comes loose. Yeah, I don't have enough heat already, right? 105 degrees outside, and I got to use a torch. You would think that would kind of start to soften up some of the varnish that might be in there. Oh, fuel vapor in there. So in case you're wondering, there was fuel vapor in there, which blew some of my wicks in there. That's gonna look good on slow-mo with me freaking out too, probably. Well, it's empty now. Yeah, not sure why I didn't think of that, but hey, it's pretty hot. Gonna need I'm gonna use this leather. There she comes. All right, just what we want. That was a pretty good whistle out of that thing, but yeah. So kids, don't do that. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. You don't want to do that. I'm gonna take this off so I don't bang up any kind of fuel pickup tube. Oh my goodness. Look at there. That is some kind of pickup tube. So yeah, that's probably going to need a little bit of straightening or something, because that is pretty gritty. But that's also why there wasn't a lot of flow through there. But okay, something for the next step. But for right now, we'll just set that over here, and then what we're going to do. Anything gonna come? Oh, yep, there's gonna be all kinds of fuel coming out of there too. So, I might have lit it off a second time. Nice. Okay. That stuff is pretty bad smelling. So let's go ahead and dump it off into here and see exactly what it is that we've got. Where I've already dumped it all on the desk. Yeah, there's a fair bit of rust and stuff that's coming out of there. Ugh, God, it stinks. Yep, I would say that looks like regular old gasoline that's in there, that yellow color. So that's what was in there. And not the end of the world though, not by a long shot. Got a long way to go before we're worried. So probably what I'll do is I'll probably end up filling the tank with some lye, swishing that around in there, and going from there. But now what we're going to do is we're going to relocate the outside. I'm going to spray this with some lye. So we're going to do that like this. All right, relocate it out to the wonderful outdoors. So got a bucket of water here for rinsing later, but for right now we're just using the oven cleaner, and so this compares to Easy Off. The important thing to notate about this is the ones that say that they're caustic, and I don't know if it says here somewhere, but it does tell you that yeah, causes eye, skin, and respiratory tract burns. That's what you're looking for, because there are ones out there that say, oh, these won't hurt you, and those don't have any of the caustic in them, so it's not going to do what we need. We need to have that lye to do this process. So this is really nothing more than spraying this down and getting it wet. So we're going to do this, and I may have to go ahead and get a second can, because this one is kind of running out, but maybe we have enough. I don't know. But we'll just kind of get it all wet like this. Normally, I put it in a plastic bag and let it sit. But for right now, we're just going to leave it out here and kind of spray a little bit more here where I didn't quite get underneath, and let it sit. Hopefully it won't dry out. I don't think it will, but anyway, that's the idea. If you do get some on your fingers, just rinse off in the water, and it's gonna your finger is gonna feel a little bit slippery, and the reason for that is called saponification. So it is actually turning you into soap. You are becoming your very own soap. So interesting, although slightly terrifying, but luckily it doesn't happen on a massive scale, so your fingers just get really clean. So we're going to go ahead and let this sit here for a bit. I might touch it up with a few more sprays to make sure it stays wet, just because I don't have a bag to put this in, and we'll come back in a few minutes and see how it looks. All right, this is what we look like now, and I went looking for my other can of oven cleaner, and I can't find the blasted thing. So it dried out a little bit while we were away. Make sure I'm still plugged in. I just stepped on my cord. But I think what we'll do now is that we'll just go ahead and start kind of rinsing it off and see where we end up. So we're going to dispense with the cardboard here and just do it right on this mesh. You can see how much gook has already come off, but we'll just do it right here. My fingers got a little bit clean, but let's see what happens when we do this here. I think probably what I really need is more of it, because I don't think we're going to quite get there, but you know, it's looking pretty good. A lot of it's coming off. A lot of it's coming off. Yeah, I wish I just knew where the heck that other bottle was. But I've found this way to be a really good way to get off the residue without any additional scratching, and it's really easy, and it's completely reusable, right? It's just a soft dish brush, and it does a really good job of getting everything off. So you can see how nice this is coming up. And man, people will be on these things with buffing wheels and all this stuff. And as you saw in a previous video here, this is all it really takes. You just need to do this, and you'll get really, really amazing results for minimal effort. This really looks very good. I kind of thought it would. The nickel didn't look too bad. Didn't look too pitted. And you know, we had that spot where someone mechanically polished it with a rag and some mothers. And I'm trying to find out exactly where that spot is, because the rest of this is cleaned up so good, you can't even see exactly where it was that they did that. Which is pretty impressive, right? I mean, considering you're seeing exactly how hard we're working. And by the way, when I went inside to check what the temperature was, temperature with the heat index 127. So you know, we do everything for our viewers here, including being out in life-threatening heat. It's not too bad. I mean, it certainly is warm, but this is about as hard as I'm working outside today, because I'm out here in the shade. I'm not in direct sun. It certainly is hot. I certainly am dripping here, and that's part and parcel of being here in Texas. But yeah, it's not too bad. And this is about all I'm going to do for today. So I'll be going back and cooling off here in a bit. Make sure we get the bottom part of this taken care of here. Probably going to get a little bit of water in the tank, but that's no problem. Got a little bit more down here that we could probably hit this with a bit more of the oven cleaner, and you can tell where you haven't scrubbed enough because it'll still feel a little bit slippery. That means you got a little bit more work to do. But yeah, we'll have to. This is definitely needs some more oven cleaner on it. But yeah, we'll just pour that out, which is probably great for it because it'll get all that rust out of there and everything else. And a little bit of old smelly fuel, but not too much. All right, so let me run off real quick and get a towel. We'll dry that off and see how it looks. Okay. Towel in hand. Let's see what she does. Yeah, I like using microfibers for this because they also help clean it. But look how nice that's coming up. Sorry about the shakiness here. We're just on a cheesy patio table, so not a $500 Gitzo tripod. But yeah, how's that for an improvement? What we started with, huh? I mean, looked pretty rough, but now we're looking not too bad. Still has got. I think that this here will all be taken care of when I can find that other oven cleaner. Bottom of this looks really good too. These usually hang, so you don't get so much rim rash with them. But yeah, we'll need to do a little bit more oven cleaner to the bottom part, but the parts that we could see from the top, man, it's looking really nice. So we'll get that cleaned up and go from there. So for the moment, that's what we're gonna do because, like I said, it's hot and it's probably time to take a bit of a break. But yep, this is the first part of bringing back this PQ, and we'll see exactly how good she comes in the next episode. Till then, keep them lit.